Hey, everybody! It's Monday.
Yep.
Are you gonna laugh at how I said that?
No, that was a good one. That had some energy to it.
I'm always like,
woo! Yeah, that had energy to it. Yeah.
Well, I'm taking my cue from like the real lady at the heart of this episode, who is super into shit, which we'll get into.
Yeah,
in a minute.
she's over the top.
I kind of thought she was cool though. I was like, I kind of feel like me and her could hang out.
This was a good episode.
Danny Rowling said, and this is that's right. The lady on the cover of this episode, the one that played the mom.
Yeah.
That was the same. That was Cody's mom from Demon Child.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I knew I'd seen her before, but I forgot it was the iconic
This
Demon Child
is a good episode. I don't know if the case actually happened, but it's a good story.
Yeah, it's like this one sounds a little far fetched. Not gonna lie, but I mean they all sound a little bit far fetched to me, but this one sounds like pretty far fetched.
The people that were telling the story though, the boyfriend or the husband, he said professional reasons that he's gonna fucking tell his story from anonymity, and then the mom, she is good at telling the story. She's real emotive, you know.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
Yeah, it almost. You know, maybe it happened to her. I don't know. And then the boy, he kind of like a Chrissy Hines knockoff.
Yeah, I wrote that down because you said it looks like emo Chrissy Hines.
Yeah, like Chrissy
He
Hines.
had like this hair that was like, I know that was all the rage when this. Yeah. Or no, it wasn't actually, because I think this episode came out in 2012, and I think that hairstyle was several years out of date at that point. But it was just kind of like this round shaggy. Ball. Yeah, it was pretty unfortunate.
The boyfriend or the husband, speaking from anonymity, well, maybe we'll get into it later. Based on what he said, something happened. He thought something was happening. May not have been what the mom thought it was, but we'll, might have not. I don't know. We'll get into the case.
I always wonder about that, because didn't we do the episode that we did last week, I think, which was the attic one? With the main guy, and he was like, I'm gonna be in shadow, but then like everybody else on the show was just regular.
So who he is.
Well, right, and it's like I kind of feel like that was the same way with this, and it's like the woman is on there, and it's like he's like, well, I have to be in shadow. I'm like, yeah, but that's your wife. If everybody knows who your wife
is,
then
and
your stepson, then obviously they're gonna know that's you, and they're probably gonna recognize your voice and shit like that.
The people that you're hiding from would know that that's you. They know your wife.
It's just kind of like
might as well just show your fucking face.
It seems kind of pointless.
Yeah.
It seems kind of pointless. I don't know. But,
that'd be like doing OnlyFans with your wife, right? Doing hot wifing and shit, BBC hot wife and everything, but you got wife in a mask.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who your wife is. Goddamn.
I mean, I know some people don't want their faces on camera, like, for other reasons, but, you know what I mean? Or people are like, they are uncomfortable with it, and that's fine. But I'm just saying that, no, you're not anonymous if everybody else on the show is like showing their actual faces. Right. Everybody that knows you is gonna know. That's you.
You're trying to be anonymous only to the people that know you. If they don't know you, it doesn't matter.
That's what I mean. Yeah. It's like you're already anonymous to
you're
everybody who doesn't know you. So you
might put this mask on so none of my friends know it's you.
I mean, I don't know. It's just it's just weird to me.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you also said that the real lady, like her name is Kathy Sheets, by the way, is her name. She bears a pretty striking resemblance to Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, cuter though, actually.
You think?
I think she's cuter than Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney Weaver's kind of tall, long, not real cute, if you ask me.
Yeah, she was like kind of a slightly shorter, slightly dumpier.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd say dumpy.
I wouldn't know dumpy. She's just short.
Yeah, like a shorter Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
Like I said, this episode, I think this was season 5.
Yeah.
And I think this was 2012. So this came out like 11 years ago now, which isn't that long ago, but still, that's like kind of a long time. So we talked about this before because I feel like season 5, they were deliberately trying to make the shit more like cinematic. So they were doing it more. And I noticed this like on one of the other season 5 episodes we did too. They started doing flash forwards. Because I guess they wanted to get into the good shit quicker. So it's like they do like a cold open on this episode where there's this real heightened like, you know, exorcism, because you know there's going to be an exorcism at the end of one called Angels and Demons, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So and just like everyone's just like, by the name of the Father, the blah blah blah, and like with the cross and everything, and everybody's like super heightened emotion and like screaming and crying and everything. And so they show it all like that with all the flashing lights, and then they're like 1 year earlier, you know what I mean? So yeah, they're trying to do it like a movie.
Give you a flash forward.
They started doing that, yeah. Danny Rolling said Sigourney looks like she has a 5-inch clit. Well, you know.
Sigourney's not cute. She's a good-looking woman, but she's not cute. She's too tall and thin to be cute.
She's a striking woman. I always thought she was very striking looking.
She's cool. Not my type, but she's cool. Yeah, but definitely not ugly. You know, she's good looking.
Yeah, I don't think she's ugly.
No, she's good.
But like I said, I like interesting looking people, not necessarily.
To me, I thought she looked bland.
Not necessarily like conventionally attractive. I kind of like people that are sort of interesting looking.
Kind of tall, skinny, bony, kind of flat. Not real flat, but you know, just not. I like curvy, shorter, curvy.
Murder Hornet said, "Seen the Pope's Exorcist at the movies yesterday. If Russell Crowe wasn't the lead actor, it would be another boring possession movie. I give it 5 out of 10. Yeah, there really are a lot of possession movies, and I'm kind of not. I'm more excited about Renfield, to be honest. I mean, I heard the Pope's Exorcist was okay, but
I've heard mixed things on the on the Pope's Exorcist.
Yeah.
Again, Bee's Nest liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he saw it. He liked it. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, possession movies are not. It's just kind of like zombie movies. It's like every now and then you see a good one, but there's so many of them.
Is that streaming already?
What one?
The Russell Crowe one.
I don't know. Unless they released it simultaneously. If they did, it's probably like $20.
Yeah, it's like $20,
because it'll be $20 for like the first however many. Like while it's still in the theater.
You get $20 to get a Blu-ray.
Yeah, or you can just wait till it's like $5. Mm-hmm. You know, a month or so from now.
Yeah.
And also says the new Evil Dead trailer looks badass. Yeah, I do kind of want to see that too.
They rebooted Evil Dead, huh?
Well, I think it's a sequel, and it's not like a remake. But yes, you want to.
Canada said that he's going to send us King of New York.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right.
He liked the review of the movie that we did.
Oh, I kind of want to mention too, like on the show yesterday. Remember how I said that we got the package from Celtic Angel 73?
Yeah.
And we showed a lot of the stuff that was in it, like the Reagan, the Exorcist Funko Pop, and she sent us the shirts that we were wearing yesterday, the Black Christmas one and the Thing one,
stuff for Pookie.
and like Amazon gift card for Pookie in Beijing. I forgot to mention that also in the box she sent us the entire series of Bates Motel.
That's right, we're watching it,
and we are watching it right now. I've been watching. I watched like a couple episodes
and the
last
shirts.
night. Yeah. So I feel bad because I was like coming home. It's like, oh shit. I didn't have it with us because we had started watching it, so it was in the bedroom. Like, you know what I mean.
And so far, it's been a good series. We're still like maybe like we're in the first season, probably like 5 or so episodes in. It's getting kind of boring to me. I hope it gets a little bit more.
It's not though. Like there was all kind of crazy shit going on.
It's not really keeping my attention. But you know what I mean. I'm gonna keep watching.
You missed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I was just like, you know.
He was wandering in and out.
There was stuff I had to do, and I was like.
His ADD, ADD ass, like wandered in and out.
It wasn't really pulling me in that much. Jenny was liking it though.
Yeah, I was really into it.
Yeah.
I have to say though, the one episode I watched last night, wasn't a fan of that scene of that little doggy getting run over.
I didn't see it.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I was like, as soon as that happened, I was like, oh well, that's enough for me for tonight, I think, because it was like real realistic looking, and I'm just like, yeah, no thanks. All right, so let's talk about Angels and Demons.
All right.
And this Sigourney Weaver looking lady.
All right.
And her trials and tribulations with Angels and
her Chrissy Hines' son.
And the poor kid. Well, it's like
he probably doesn't look like that anymore.
Well, the weird thing about this is that the kid, he's an okay looking kid. Like I think it was. I mean, he had braces. He's kind of awkward looking. He's like he's a teenage boy. You know what I mean? And, you know, he had kind of that haircut that a lot of those boys had back then, which, you know, not super flattering. But I will say that the real kid looked better than the actor that they had playing him. Because the actor that they had playing him was like, that was some haircut they had on that kid. And he was another one that had, like, real big nostrils, just like that other one that they had. Yeah. Remember that other episode from season 5? It was like, what was it all the big nostrils? I mean, like, not like I can talk, because I have big, huge nostrils, too, but I'm just saying.
I wasn't paying attention to people's nostrils. I'm not nostrophobic.
I'm not nostrophobic. I'd be phobic in myself if that was the case. Because, you know, I have big, huge nostrils also. But it's just kind of like, I don't know why. Well, I think the reason I noticed it on this is because they were flaring them. Like, and so there was these big 2, like, black holes.
Oh, I want to just mention that before the show goes on even more, just let you guys know some shit that's happening behind the scenes and some of the tight friends of the show. I pierced Jen's nipples.
Yeah.
Both for first time.
Over the weekend. Yeah.
Over the weekend, yeah. Fucking with like 15, I think it was a 14 gauge needle. And I had all the gear to do it, and fucking, they came out good. They came out real good.
Yeah, they look really nice.
I showed them to a friend of mine, that guy that owns Quinn Studios. He's a pornographer, him and his wife. And he used to be
I'm a pornographer.
Yeah, he's a pornographer. And he pierced professionally for years. I showed him the photos, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's good. Its depth is good. They're straight." He goes, "Yeah, good deal."
Yeah, you did a good job.
And yeah, that shit was fucking. I've been putting needles through myself for a long time. Going through a leg and going through a nipple, fucking two different. Man, that shit crunched and cracked and popped going through that thing. And I was disturbed, but I couldn't stop, man. I just had to. And then once one was done,
imagine how I felt.
Yeah. No.
Wow. I thought
it was going to be soft as butter, that the needle would just go into it. No, it took a lot of pressure. I was thinking to myself, I didn't say it to Jen, that first one I was going, what the fuck, man, am I hitting bone? How is that possible?
I'm like, I don't have any bones in my
teeth. How is that fucking possible?
It's not that I know of, anyway.
Yeah. So she got 2 bars in there now. They look good. Just like little beads.
Yeah, it came out really
nice.
But holy shit, wow, that hurt like a motherfucker. Well, the thing about it was that, I mean, I have a really high pain tolerance, okay? You know, like, I've had all kind of, like, bad shit, and it's, like, usually doesn't bother me. I expected it to hurt. I didn't expect it to hurt that much, though. Yeah. Actually, when you were doing the first one, I had to lay down because I started to black out. That's how much it hurt.
Yeah, I can understand.
I started to black out.
Don't try that on your own, people, unless you have some experience.
So the second one, I had to lay back, and he had to do it.
And certain things didn't go smoothly. Like, I had to do one twice because I accidentally misplaced the wrong size needle, and it wasn't quite the same diameter as the bar that had to go in there, and the bar couldn't follow it. And I was like, fuck. And she was fucking freaking out. It was the second one, and I wasn't thinking. I just grabbed the other needle and pulled it through. It was the wrong size. I got to get the bigger one. I should have just took the bigger one.
Motherfucker.
I should have just took the bigger one and fucking put it to the back of the small one and pushed that through the hole again, and then it would have corrected itself. But I was kind of a little bit wigging out, you know. It wasn't bleeding, but I knew it hurt a lot, you know. So.
Oh, it did.
Whew. And
well, he did one, and then I was just kind of like, maybe I should just leave it with one. I don't want to be crooked and everything, because I was like, man, that hurt like way more than I was expecting. And like, I think it was like the pain was bad, but I think the thing that bothered me the most was like the blacking out. Like I almost blacked out. Like my vision went, and I was like, I'm blacking out. I was like, please stop. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that kind of like disturbed me, so I didn't really want to go through that again. But I was like, well, I don't really want to be crooked either. But I was like, you need to like let me chill out for a few hours. Yeah. Like, and I said, and also I need to be a little bit drunk. Yeah. So I had to drink some before we did the second one. Yeah.
So don't. It's not like I've had a lot of experience fucking going through meat and flesh and. Because I give myself injections a lot, and then experience with fucking vivisection and dissection in high school, doing biology classes, and being food service. I can butcher animals and shit, and so I had some background in doing shit like this. I just didn't realize how tough a fucking nipple was. It was like going through.
Well, like rubber. You said, well, they're
stretching and popping and cracking, and I'm going like, damn.
They have to be like that because babies like nurse off them.
I thought it was gonna go through there like butter, just like it was going through fat, but no.
And it was a big. I admit before you even did it, like when you showed me the needle it was doing, I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck did I even? Yeah. Why? Yeah. Why did we have this idea? Yeah. Now, see, Danny Rowling said Jenny should pierce Tom's areolas. See, that's what I said. I said, now it's your turn.
I would have done it.
And he was like, fuck no. And I was like, yeah, that figures.
I would have done it had it been an easy procedure. Once I felt how much pressure it takes to go through that material, hell no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't have any problem anywhere else, but not on a nipple. That shit's fucking too tough.
Look, he's going like that, just thinking
after I did that procedure, I laid him to bed, going to sleep, and started thinking about it again, and I'm going, damn, I can't believe I did that. Fucking, but that came out good.
Like I said, how do you think I feel? Yeah. I was on the receiving end. Yeah. Murder Hornet said, I had my navel piercing back in the mid-90s. I can still put a ring through it.
I sent Murder Hornet some pictures of him.
Well, yeah, and he only just told me that.
Yeah.
And I was like, who the fuck else are you sending pictures of my boobs
to? A
couple people. He's not going to tell me who.
Well, Quinn was one, and then a couple more. But they're friends. They're friends. Oh, Jen.
Well, I know that. I don't care.
Jen.
She's seen my boobs before.
Yeah. So, Soph saw him.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah.
Well,
that's
yeah,
nice.
you told me about
So,
that.
you know, just people like that.
I mean, I'm not that bothered.
There's people
I mean, it's just because sometimes I wish. Sometimes I wish you just like ask me before you do it.
I didn't.
I'd probably. I would for sure. I would probably say yes.
Oh, I know you would.
Because I'm not that. I'm not that shy about that.
Yeah. And it's not like it's got your face in the photo.
They're just boobs.
They're like medical photos anyway. So, you know, there's no face.
Yeah, they're just boobs.
Yeah.
They're called breasts, and everyone has them.
Everybody got them.
That was from the young ones, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we're done talking about that, let's talk about angels and demons. Danny Rowling said you forgot to send a photo to moderator David June, Tom.
Okay, all right, we work something out.
Now he's gonna like pimp out my tits.
We'll work something out. Send me
That's nice.
a super chat.
That's nice.
Kidding.
You're probably not
y'all
kidding.
Laughing.
No.
I got the OnlyFans pretty. Just opened it up. I got to search it.
There's like nothing on there yet.
No. Jen's laughing. You gonna do OnlyFans? And I said, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. You know, I'm fucking with her mostly, but there's no telling what could happen.
I mean, you set it up, so obviously.
I set it up, yeah.
So obviously, you want to get into that.
Well, you can put it doesn't have to be porn. You can put anything on there.
Yeah, I know. Zach says Jenny should give Tom a Prince Albert because that's
another one that would fucking hurt.
That's what I was thinking.
It's another one that would hurt.
I was like, yeah.
No,
like
thanks.
if I asked you to do that, would you do it?
No. Now that I saw fucking what it's like going through that strange material, fuck no.
The strange material.
Yeah, I mean, I got no problem sticking it through legs and shit like that for just through skin.
That's different. I mean,
going through anything that's like
because he gives me injections all the time too, and it's like it's nothing. But
it's nothing. But anything going through stretchy materials and cartilages and shit like that, no, I ain't gonna do it.
I mean, I knew it was gonna be like I pierced my own ears like years ago.
Yeah.
And they're still in there too, even though I hardly ever wear earrings. But
yeah, I don't think I'd go through a tongue or anything. I'm not going through any kind of damn organ.
Yeah, I wouldn't want my tongue pierced anyway. Well, to be honest, that just seems like a pain in the ass. Like I know that some people like having them, and it's like that's up to them. But I wouldn't get that. It just seemed like it'd be a big
put a little stud here. You know what I mean? On the
like that kind of shit. That'd be easy.
Or I like the ones that's a little bar that just goes through like the upper shoulder parts. Right. Because that's real soft.
Yeah, that's just skin.
It's just skin. It's real soft, and you don't really need a big gauge needle to go through it. You could do probably a 20 gauge, 25 gauge to go through that. It would just slip through. You wouldn't even feel it. But
Tammy said Tom's gonna print up a T-shirt with a picture of Jen's boobs on it.
Yeah,
that would be funny. You just put like my boobs where your boobs are.
Yeah.
Like, didn't they used to have those shirts back in the 70s that were like they were for dudes, but then they had like a woman's boobs like with a bra on them or something?
Yeah.
I remember seeing that in the movie like a long time, like in the 80s maybe.
Yeah, it was black and white.
Or
was it? It's a black and white, like a Xerox photograph of fucking boobs, and it was on the shirt.
Danny Rowling said, once they heal, you should get a chain piercing that connects your ear piercings to your nipple piercings and make a makeshift chain to wallet. Yeah. You just hang shit on it. It's like I'm drying out my laundry,
What I was going to do is once they're all healed up, if she gets bored with them, we'll put some like 1-inch rings with a captured ball in there. You need a little tool.
We got like a kit. Like it came with a bunch of different ones.
But it didn't come with the. Didn't come with the tool that you need to close it and keep everything all round. Because you have to bend it, then you slip it through, and I'm not sure it's quite the right size. It has to be similar to the size of the two of the piercing that went through there. So probably about an inch and a half, about like that, would do it. And you bend it, you slip it through there like that, and then you bend it back closed. You got to put the ball in there, and then there's a tool that you use to make everything round again, and then you put the ball in place. It's got 2 dimples on it, and it takes a lot of practice. And if it's a little ball, it's slipping around like the one that we have. I couldn't get back in, even when it wasn't in a person. So I didn't want to fuck with that. It's too hard.
It's hilarious to me. Like before, and I promise we'll get back to talking about the show in a minute. But because you know how we get. The thing that I found hilarious was that the kit that you bought, I was like, it comes with, they have a specific clamp that is specifically for that piercing.
For nipple
like
piercing,
that you like pull it out and has like little rings so you can pull it out and and it's you can adjust it.
Yeah.
And I was like, the first thing I thought of was like, somewhere in the world there's a factory that makes that very specific tool. I wonder how many of them they make a day.
There's another one that grabs your nostrils. It's got a hole to do a septum piercing.
Yeah.
Which that's got to fucking kill.
I'm sure that probably hurts. Like up here, like like up here doesn't hurt, but it's like
Yeah.
But yeah, down here would probably hurt.
I'm not doing any of that shit going through cartilage or any soft fucking flexible materials and shit.
Well, I'm not really lining up to do it again.
Had I known what that material was like in there, I would have done it. You know what I mean?
It's done.
I got it done and it came out good, but had I known that felt like, had I known what that felt like to push through it, how much pressure that needed, I would have fucking went, nope, I ain't gonna do that.
I mean,
because it was very counterintuitive to me.
It hurt yesterday, but today it's like not. Yeah. I got some what do you call it? Antibiotic cream with a painkiller in it.
Yeah, there's no sign of infection. Everything was.
Yeah, it looks totally fine.
Everything was clean.
It looks totally fine. But yeah, so
let's go ahead and get back to it then. Got that one out of the way. Okay, we got more people in there now.
Yeah, all right. Now that we're talking about nipples and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to think of like a segue from going from nipple piercing into the ghost, but I
dealing with ghosts, man.
I can't really
dealing with demons and angels and shit.
Yeah, I felt like I was dealing with demons. That's for sure. Holy shit!
Have an out of body experience.
I don't think that's the worst pain I've ever felt, but it was up there.
You said it was 5 out of 10.
It was I said 6, maybe 7.
All right.
But it was up there, probably in the top 5.
Yeah.
Since it had to be in the top 5, the worst pain I've ever experienced. Because it sucked a lot.
Pretty rough.
It sucked a lot. But yeah,
never again.
Yeah,
I ain't piercing nipples again. No.
Yeah,
I don't know how much that would have cost. That's probably a $200 job.
Yeah, I don't know how much they charge. Like I said, I did my own ears, but I never got any other ones done professionally. All right, so as I said, they started this one with a flash forward because they're trying to make it more like a movie. So there's like a crazy, like over-the-top exorcism where everyone's waving crosses around and whatnot. Everyone's crying and screaming and whatnot. So they do that for a few seconds, and then they're like, 1 year earlier. So this story takes place in, I guess, like the autumn of 2010 in a place called Arnold, Maryland, which they said was right outside of Annapolis. I'm not from Maryland, so I don't really know. My mom is, but yeah. So this woman's name is Kathy Sheets. I'm presuming that's her real name because her real face was on there. And like we said, she kind of looked like Sigourney Weaver. So she has a 15-year-old son who was 15 at the time, whose name is Michael. And she has been a single mom, pretty much all of her kid's life, I guess. However, in fall of 2010, she's moving in with her boyfriend, whose name is Brian Davis. Like I said, I don't know if that's his real name because he just... came up in shadow, you know what I mean? He was just there in shadow, so that might not be his real name. So Brian has just finalized his divorce from his previous wife, and he's kind of nervous about doing this new thing, but they're moving in together and blah blah blah. Now so we backed this up because they were like, okay, well, Brian was staying when they move into this new house. I think she said it was a townhouse, but I thought like the house they showed on there wasn't really a townhouse, but whatever. But I guess in Maryland, like a lot of the houses are townhouses. So there was a spare bedroom in the basement, and they said that Brian was sleeping in the basement. I said, why is he sleeping in the basement? It's like they're boyfriend and girlfriend, right? Like, so why is he sleeping down in the basement and does he snore? I don't know. And then I was like, well, why is he in the basement? And then we like backed it up, and I guess they didn't say, or I totally missed it. So because I put Brian's in the basement for some reason, I don't know why he's sleeping down there. So he got in trouble, I guess. So he's down in the basement, and he said that he heard somebody like walking behind him when he was walking down there. He said it was very, very clear, like very much sounded like somebody was walking behind him. And then when he was down in the basement, like he could hear the footsteps like kind of walking around the room, even though obviously he couldn't see anybody.
Yeah, he said he didn't know if it was maybe the boards heating and cooling or what, but he said he definitely heard something that sounded like footsteps going around.
Yeah.
So even though he's being shot in shadow, there's something kind of credible about his testimony, especially later on when like they're confronting the fucking demon or spirit or whatever it is. He says some things that kind of make me think that he's telling the truth. Because it wasn't very fantastic what he said. But we'll get into that in the middle.
Yeah.
I remember what he said.
I might have written it down, but maybe not.
Yeah.
So
I remember what he said.
Yeah. But, so he tries to kind of, like, write it off, like, maybe it's the ventilation system, or maybe it's just the floors creaking, or blah-de-blah, so he doesn't really mention it to his girlfriend. Now, for a while, Brian is staying in the old house, like, I guess while they're, getting everything moved around or whatever. So Michael, the son, and the mom, Kathy, are in the new house. Now, one of the first things that happens is Michael is in his room, and he's working on his laptop, like, doing homework or whatever. And he sees something, like, it looks like something moving, and I think it was kind of dark on the TV, so I couldn't really see what it was, but I think it was, like, some kind of reflection of maybe something behind him, and it was, like, reflected in the laptop screen. That's kind of what it looked like to me. So he sees something, and he's like, what the fuck? And he, like, looks behind, and there's nobody there. But he said, the real kid said it felt like a spider crawled up his back, but there was, like, nothing there. So he kind of, like, felt a presence, I guess. So he goes to tell his mom, but apparently it's 3 a.m. and she's like not having it. Which I don't blame her. Don't be waking me up at 3 a.m. telling me about some fucking ghost in your room. Man up, deal with it. So he does feel like something is like watching him and touching him though. Like I guess he said that's what it felt like something came over and touched him. So then I don't know if it was that same night or maybe like the next night. So Kathy's bed starts shaking like Exorcist style. Now, the first thing she thought was maybe it's an earthquake or maybe something heavy, like, fell down in the house and, like, shook the bed or something.
Yeah, she just said, hey, shook the bed. But when they show it, and then they show her reaction and her talking about it, I had some weird shit happen to me like this at Mammoth, First night I was there. It scared her. She said something was shaking the bed. And she said, and that kind of shit really freaks you out. It didn't shake my bed, but it was moving things around. I could hear it, and it picked up the damn receiver of the telephone and fucking dropped it. That was weird shit, man. And you're like, that didn't happen. That did not just happen. You're just going to denial,
Well, that's kind of what these two were doing.
Yeah,
they were. She was just kind of like, well, maybe it was an earthquake.
No way. You're scared shitless. And you go, that did not happen. You try to shut that shit out, but the hell yeah, it happened. Because it keeps on doing it.
Julianne said they said he stayed in the basement to let the kid get used to them living together. Oh, okay. See, that's what I mean. I thought they said something about it, but then we backed it up and I couldn't find where he said it. So, because I was like, there was got to be a reason. I'm like, that's kind of weird. But okay, so thank you for saying that because we did back it up, but for some reason I didn't like see that. So yeah. No earthquake, no, but she's just like, okay, well, I'm going to try and not, like, pay attention to that or whatever. However, she does go to a friend of hers named Bonnie, who also happens to be a psychic. And she goes there to kind of ask, I don't think she goes initially to ask her about the ghosty situation, but she does ask, like, about her and Brian. And then, so Bonnie busts out the tarot cards, and then, of course, this is season 5. It's 2012 when this came out. It's like, everybody knows what the fuck tarot cards are. It's just like everybody knows what EVPs are, but they feel the need to like explain it every single time, and I don't really understand why they have to do that. But so, so she brings out the tarot cards, and she's basically like, well, your relationship has a good potential, but, there are no guarantees. I'm like, you don't need fucking tarot cards to tell you that. Yes, you're just real psychic there, aren't you?
Danny's saying that I could rock a damn eyebrow piercing now. Actually, Danny, I wouldn't get any piercings on my face because I get into fights now. So you don't want anything that gets fucked up if you get punched. Maybe I could do ears or something like that, or up around in body parts, but nothing on my face. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, probably not a great idea.
No.
Because someone will
get ripped out.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want any kind of
now I'm kind of like paranoid about like...
I don't want any weak spots on my face.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Okay. So I guess like a few days later, she goes back down to the basement and the light doesn't work, which, that's not necessarily paranormal or whatever. But she goes over there to like open the curtains so she can see what she's doing. And then she turns around and sees just like a dark figure. She didn't really describe it all that much, did she? Mm. They just kind of had it. I mean, on there they have kind of like your standard demon looking, like a scary looking dude in a hood or whatever.
I think she was just saying it was just like a dark, shadowy humanoid figure.
Yeah.
Probably just an outline. That's probably what she's talking about. She didn't give any details.
Yeah. So this freaks her out, understandably. And she tells Brian, but he just doesn't believe her. And doesn't tell her about, but he heard a bunch of stuff down there in the basement too, but he's just like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? I'm like, he comes across, at least the actor, like, came across as, like, a little bit douchey on this one. The real guy, not so much, but, you know. So then it seemed like the next day she's sitting in the living room or whatever, and she said out of the corner of her eye, she saw something. She said it was fast and white, like, out of the corner of her eye. Turns out, guess what? She saw a demon. Now she sees a big-ass angel.
Yeah. Big angel with its wings spread out like a guardian angel.
She said that she thought she was dead. That she's like, well, isn't that the only time you're supposed to see that shit?
Yeah.
That's when you die. She said she saw it for about 5 seconds, and it was very clear. So there's the angel. So now we have angel and demon. So we got two sides of the shit going here now. So she goes back to her friend Bonnie, who is the psychic. And Bonnie says, well, this is probably your spirit guide thingy. Either trying to help you or trying to warn you about something. So at this point, Kathy's like, you know what? I really don't have time for this nonsense right now, so I'm just kind of ignore this shit until it all blows over, I guess. So June of 2011, Brian's divorce is finally final. So Kathy and Brian decide to get married. So they get married. Now, she's in the kitchen one night chopping vegetables for a romantic dinner because Michael's out at a friend's house. So, you know, they got some alone time. Bow, chicka, wow. So there's that. Now, while she's cutting up the vegetables, she said her hand goes numb. And then she looks down at her hands and they're like blue. And then the back of her head went numb too, she said. She thought she was having a stroke, which is, yeah, what you would think probably. So she calls 911, as you would. So the ambulance comes and they take her to the hospital. Now, when she gets to the hospital, they find that her blood pressure is, what they say, 200 over 100, which is, it's pretty high. That's pretty high. And they basically say, well, we can't, she seems okay now, but it's like, you know, that high of a blood pressure or spiking that much, like, is kind of consistent with, like, a stroke or maybe, like, a cardiac arrest or something, but she didn't really have any of that. But they do keep her overnight, so they're not really sure what's wrong with her. So, basically, they're just, like, their go-to in this situation is, like, well, maybe it was a panic attack. You know, maybe it was, like, stress-induced. So, okay, because there didn't really seem to be any lingering effects or whatever. So, Kathy goes home the next morning. Then there's a scene where she's talking to an old friend on the phone, like, about this whole situation. And then while she's talking on the phone, like, from behind, like, the camera's like, it's all wavy and shit, like, it's like there's somebody back there, and then something's behind her and, like, her hair, like, goes like that, like some blue on it, and then that scary dude, like the demon guy, is like right behind her, and she like turns around and fucking screams and all that kind of shit.
Listen to what Zach said.
What do you say? I was gonna say, did you see a cum shot? Because Fast and White. Maybe that's what it was.
You just said it blew on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. Huh?
Yeah, maybe she
got OnlyFans too.
Maybe that could be our OnlyFans angle. We'll do like a whole paranormal theme.
Zach's like, OnlyFans is real. That's not just a story. Yeah, we got OnlyFans. I think it's just called Tom and Jen. I think it's what it's called right now. It's just got a picture of us on it. There's nothing on it.
Yeah, there's nothing on it. Nothing on it. But he just showed, because I thought he was kidding too. But then he was I set one up.
Yeah, it only takes a couple seconds. I suck that shit up. Fucking Zach's like, duh, man, fucking, I want to see that. Yeah, Zach, maybe it'll just be me. It'll just be me, Zach, doing solos. JOI instructions for you gays. Well, I'm just going to fucking jerk it together. But you got to send me money.
I'll see. If you start doing it, it's like maybe you make a lot of money, maybe I'll get involved.
Then you get involved? Yeah, you come and give me a head?
Yeah. Like I said, I want to see if there's any money in it first.
You'd probably make more at it than I would.
Probably true.
Yeah.
Probably true.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean that in any, like, usually girls make more money no matter what they look like. So.
Well, the only dudes that are making money, it's either very much man-on-man action. That's the orientation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gay, or it's dudes that are going around doing collaborations with other OnlyFans chicks. You know what I mean? So he's basically just being a porn star.
Yeah.
And on his channel, he's got a bunch of different performers he's performed with on his channel. They've kind of split the money, or he probably pays them.
Yeah.
To be in the scene with him.
Right. Okay, so this is I guess like the second time she's seen the demon, right? So now soon after this, she's picking up Michael from school. So she's like sitting in the car, like in front of the school or whatever. And she said, this is kind of like a funny scene. It would probably be scary if it really happened to you, but it was like just funny the way they shot it. But I guess there's like, she said it felt like an invisible thing, like pushing on her head, like it was going to snap her neck. So it's like pushing her head like into this real like unnatural position. And she can't talk and she can't breathe and everything like that. So she's all like, wow, like in the front seat of the car. Like trying to pray, and like I said, it was pretty funny. Like Cody's mom, like from the Demon Child episode, she was having some problems with her neck, you know. So she's trying to pray, but can't, like I said. So Michael runs to the car. It's like, Mom, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, why is your head all fucked up? Like it's all in a weird position and everything. So Michael starts praying because I guess Mom can't. And at this point, he tells her that he has also been experiencing shit in the house, and they show at this point, I guess this was kind of like a flashback. But he said that he was in his room one night, and this kind of reminded me of like some shit that happened at Mammoth, like the first thing that happened with the bag and the socks. Yeah. Because he's like sitting in his room, and he said he was on the laptop, and his backpack was on the bed, and he said something like it looked like an invisible something was like pulling on the straps of the backpack like that.
Yeah. And
then he said it just like picked up and like threw itself across the room.
Yeah.
So.
Poltergeist phenomenon. Poltergeist phenomenon.
Yeah.
He was probably the right age.
15 he was when this
right
happened. So once the kid like told her that, like Kathy said she got really upset because she didn't know this was happening to him too, and she's like, I felt like a failure because I wasn't protecting him and blah blah blah. And at this point they're trying to like, now her and Michael are both talking to Brian about this, and he basically says it's all in your head. And I'm like, that's nice. So I put Brian. Yeah, Brian thinks it's all in her head and is being a real douche about it. That's kind of he was being a real man on this one, where he was just like, you're just a woman. You sure you're not like imagining all this stuff? She's like, hey, my son sees the shit too. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was pretty special. So that same night, they all sleep in the same room, and Michael suddenly sits up in bed and starts doing like a demon-y kind of voice, like blah, 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 blah. But what he was saying was an argument that Kathy and Brian had earlier. Like he repeated the argument like word for word, even though apparently Michael had not been home when they had this conversation. Like he'd been at school or at a friend's house or something. So they were kind of weirded out because they're like, holy shit, he's just up there sitting up in bed like talking in this creepy voice, and he's saying exactly what they said. And I think at that point, like, Brian was kind of on board, where he was just like, okay, maybe something weird is going on, and everybody's like, duh, you know what I mean? What?
Nothing.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
I can't listen to the story.
No. I thought you were going to say something, because you kind of went like that, like you were going to say something.
No, just
I can never tell. So, yeah, so Brian finally admits, oh, yeah, well, maybe might be some possession jazz going on here. So then they call this paranormal investigator guy named Hiram. And I went to write down his last name, but they were going too fast, and I was like, well, never mind.
His name was Hiram.
Hiram, yeah. Hiram something. I don't remember what his last name was. And I think they said he used to be like, he was like I don't think they said he was CIA, but maybe he was like intelligence or something like that. I don't remember what they said. But yeah, he's a paranormal investigator now. So he brings like EVPs, that bullshit spirit box. He brings all that shit.
Let me get some ice. I'll put some more ice in that.
Okay. That spirit box thing, that is such crap, by the way. Yeah. How much do they charge for those nowadays? I have to like go on apps because I'm always kind of curious, because I'm like, well, it's essentially just a thing that goes through radio frequencies, right? That's all it is. But if you call it like a specialized like paranormal investigation tool, then you can probably like charge a lot more money for it, but that's literally all it does. It just goes through radio frequencies, and it's like just counts on you to like pick out some, just like, oh my god, it sounded like it was answering my questions or whatever. So audio pareidolia. So yeah, so he brings all the stuff. Now he does all these EVPs, and then he brings like Kathy and Brian and them like back to the office, and he plays all these EVPs back for them. And they said that all the EVPs, they were like, look, he did like all of these tapes of EVPs, and they were just like stuffed with demon voices like all over the shit. And they said you couldn't like tell what they were saying. It just sounded like rah, 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 rah. Like it sounded like garbled, like a fucking, I don't know, like a 80s black metal record or something. But I guess like they weren't really saying anything, right? They just said it was all garbled, but there was like a whole bunch of voices.
I poured a little bit of vodka on the top of that, so it's probably pretty strong.
Yeah. Okay.
It's only a little though. It's just floating around.
It's only little.
It's just floating on the top.
Okay.
It'll mix in.
Yeah, so garbled demon voices all over the shit. So again, Brian hears this and he's like, okay, yeah, I guess we do got demons. And so Hiram tells them, your house is, I believe the wording he used was the mother of all portals. Because, you can't just have one demon or two. It's got to be a whole fucking way station situation.
Mother of all portals.
The mother of all portals, that's what he said. So yeah, so all the tapes he had, like, that he took in there, just like all over the shit, had demon voices. And at this point, Hiram kind of leaves the story because he's like, well, I've done all I can do, recorded all these EVPs, this is beyond my pay grade, so bye. Good luck with that. You know what I mean? Pretty much. Now, at this point, too, I think Kathy, like, wakes up in the middle of the night and she sees, like, this mist. She didn't really explain it, but the way that they had it on the reenactment, it kind of looked like it was moving intelligently, maybe. Kind of. And then she sees, like, these weird, like, flashing lights, like, outside in the hall. And then the fire alarm goes off, but there's not, or the smoke alarm, but there's not any fire. Like, they can't find any fire. So they assume that's paranormal also. So Kathy, at this point, decides she's going to go to the church for help. So she goes to the priest. And then we were kind of laughing because at first, it seemed like the priest was just going to blow her off. Like, why don't you call God with that shit, okay? Yeah, it's like, I got shit to do. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of what it sounded like he was saying at first. It's like, well, you have God on your side, so why don't you call someone
Go
call someone who cares. Yeah. So it was kind of like that, which kind of made me laugh.
Let God handle that shit.
Yeah, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, well, yeah, why do we even need you for anyway? I mean, if that's the whole thing. But he did actually like come out to their house, so he wasn't just blowing them off. But I just thought that was really funny. So he comes in the house and apparently feels like real oppressive, like bad energy or whatever, especially in the basement. And they said that while he was doing the blessing or whatever, like his hands were shaking and he was like scared. And then he's like, he does the blessing and he's like, okay, y'all are good. Just pray and I'm out of here. That's like what the priests do in this situation. They're just like, yep, we're done. Bye. What you doing?
She's calling you.
Yeah. Hi. She's trying to jump up on the chair. So that night, after the priest leaves, the family is very hopeful, obviously, that the priest actually like kicked the demons out their house. But Kathy, this was not clear. She said that she woke up from a horrible dream, but then she was like, it wasn't a dream though. So I was like, well, which is it? What are you talking about? She said that she woke up and she just called it a thing on the other side of the bed. So I'm assuming this is like the demonic figure that she's been seeing previously. She said it was 3 feet away and it was looking right at her. And she said she grabbed a crucifix and the holy water, which she keeps right there for such purposes. And then I put in my notes, I would put, the real chick is really into this. I threw holy water all over my house. And she was like, she's starting to get like amped up, like as the story is going on. But like you said, she's a good storyteller though. But it's like, I'm not real sure. She's not like super believable, but she tells a good story though. So the first thing in the morning, she calls the priest and was like, what's the deal? Like, the shit's still here and it's getting worse than ever. And she's like, I woke up this morning and I heard it chanting. They didn't put that on the reenactment, but she said that she heard it chanting, like when she woke up in the morning. And the priest basically says, yeah, you probably need to get the fuck out the house. So they all pile in the car, and for whatever reason, Kathy says to the husband and the son, no talking. No one talks in this car. So she's like, they just drove to a motel or something like that, just in complete silence for whatever reason. So they stay in a motel one night. And then they come back the next day, and Kathy has decided that even though she is just a regular-ass person who looks like Sigourney Weaver, she is going to, fight the aliens, or fight the demons, rather. You know what I mean?
Fight aliens.
Well, you know, maybe that's where she was taking inspiration from. Get away from her, you bitch. But yes. That's what I was thinking while I was watching this episode. See, I just think random shit like that. So yeah, so I wrote in my notes, I was like, Kathy gonna fight the shit on her own, gonna become a demon slayer. That's what I wrote on here. So yeah, she's dropping her nuts, and she's gonna get rid of the demons by herself because no one can help her, I guess. And she's gonna close the portal. Now, I cannot convey to you, I mean, because some of you obviously watched this episode, like after I announced which one we were doing. It's hard for me to convey to you how super dramatic, but also how super entertaining this lady is. Because as this story goes on, she's just like...
She's almost crying. And...
I can't explain it. Yeah. It's like, but it's super funny, though. It's like, I don't know. It's like, it's hard to explain.
Jenny thinks it made her less credible. I'm kind of thinking that maybe it might have made her more credible. She made it, you know, she might have just really fucking was affected by it. She believed it. Now, her husband, he said during one of these episodes, and I think we might have passed it already, that they were yelling into the darkness, and he didn't see anything, but he could sense there was something moving in there. Isn't that what he said? Or something like, he could sense that something, he didn't see anything, but he could sense that something was wrong.
Yeah, he did say something like that.
Yeah. He said there was some kind of disturbance happening back there. But she was seeing more than he was seeing, evidently.
Yeah, well, she was seeing all kind of crazy shit.
She was seeing all kinds
of demons and angels and all kind of shit.
He couldn't see anything, but he could sense that there was a disturbance happening.
Yeah, I think the only thing he really experienced, I think, was the footsteps at the beginning, and then he did hear the demon EVPs and like the kid in the weird demon voice, like saying the argument from earlier. He did hear that.
I thought he was pretty credible because he didn't make any wild claims, really. He just said he heard footsteps and he could sense there was a disturbance. Strong and was imagining more than what was really happening. The disturbances might have not been all that impressive, but they felt impressive. So
I do kind of feel like there's a certain kind of person that is more fantasy prone.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, because I'm not real fantasy prone, so I kind of feel like that certain times when weird things happen, certain types of people will really like conflate that, and then usually like after like the longer it goes on, like after it happens, they'll keep like adding more details, and it'll just get bigger and bigger in their head, and they'll just keep like telling the story until it gets like super outlandish. Even though if you actually saw the actual thing happen, it was like some little wet fart of a nothing.
Well, Jen's actually seen phenomena. She saw a damn remote just jump up off a table and get thrown, and the way it landed and the way it sounded when it hit the ground sounded wrong, and doorbells ringing in the night, nobody there, that type of stuff. But you weren't real fantasy prone. You saw it for what it was. You know, I mean, maybe a person who was more amped up, more fantasy prone, would have said, "Yeah, the remote jumped off the table and landed on the ground, but I saw what had it. A demon had it."
Yeah, you know, they might have like thought
and add some shit to it.
And I absolutely did not do that.
Yeah, I didn't.
And in fact, the weird thing about it is that it was weird, like when it happened, because it was like startling. But one, it wasn't scary necessarily. It was almost kind of like mundane, if that makes any sense.
When you see it happen, you're like, "Oh, okay, it happens."
You're like, that's kind of like what I was like, huh?
Yeah.
I was just kind of like that. Because, well, for a second, like, I thought, the remote thing, that was kind of like the first thing that I saw. And then I was just kind of like, for a second, I was like, wait, did that just do what I thought it did? And then I looked over at Dimitri and Jen, because they were sitting right there, and they were looking at me, and they were like, did that just do what that? And I was like, okay. So I was like, check. I was looking for outside validation. The first thing I thought was like, maybe I kicked the table. I was like, I knew I didn't kick the table, but I was like, maybe I kicked the table and it flew off, but I didn't kick the table. But that was like the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
But
and then a stack of coins appeared.
Yeah. But the weird thing about it is that when it happens, it's almost kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like there's not flashing lights and sound effects and like in a movie. It's just kind of like, oh, the remote control just went pshoo and just like flew off the table. That's like all that happened. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's freaky, but
it's not as freaky as you think it is.
It's not it's not as freaky as it would be like in a movie. There's not like a jump scare, like a musical sting or anything like that. It was just kind of like, oh, huh, okay, that was strange. But yeah, but this chick is like super dramatic. So she's going in there and she's gonna kick some demon butt, right? So she's calling on the angel warriors. I had to write that down because I thought that was really funny. So I'm guessing that she's calling on the angel that she saw earlier.
She called him Michael.
Yeah. And going around rebuking and whatnot. And she's just like sitting there. She's just getting so like more and more into, thank you God for saving my life and all this other kind of stuff. And I'm just like, oh man, she is really laying it on thick. But it was like not in an annoying way though. She did it like in an entertaining kind of way. Like I said, I kind of want to hang out with her. Is that weird? Yeah. Is that weird to say? Like, normally people that go on and on like this, they would just, like, annoy the shit out of me. But she wasn't annoying. She was just, like, really entertaining. But, yeah, she was just, like, going around. She's like, I am never going to be without my crucifix ever again. And all this other kind of stuff. And she's like, and I heard
the Bible next to the bed.
I heard the angels say, like, save her, help her. You know, she was getting, like, all into it, man. Yeah. She was so into it. It was just, like, so funny. What was that? Oh, you're saying. I was like... but she said while she was, you know, rebuking the demons or whatever, that she actually did see the angel again. Did she, like, she said it was the same one, I guess, that she saw before, like with the big wings and everything like that. You know, just your standard issue.
It's just the good
angel, like from you know, central casting.
Yeah.
And she's like way over the top. But apparently this worked. The angel, she said that she felt the angel grip her hand. She's not like hard like an asshole or anything like that, but just like
firm.
Hey, I got you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm gonna help you. I was like, well, where the fuck have you been this whole time? Like the demon's been like
had to get permission,
fucking with my neck and all this shit, and you just did nothing. You just stood there and did nothing.
Angel had to get permission to step to intercede. See.
He had to go to the manager.
Yeah, he had to go to the big manager in the sky to see if he could intercede. You want to stop this? All right, you got that. And there it is.
Yeah, and then God's up there being like, nah, that person's a dick. Just let the demon torment them a little longer. I like to watch. Maybe that's what it was. I don't really know. But yeah, but I did actually write down where the fuck was this angel the whole time? Yeah, because it didn't show up until the end of the show. Like to help her. And it was like, yeah, we got you now. Like I got permission, I guess. So I can come in here and kick all the demons out. I don't know. I guess it was just the one demon. So it should have just been angel and demon. No, I guess there was more than one demon. She just saw one, but there was lots of them on the... Yeah, but there was really technically
as
just
if a demon could not impersonate 20 demons.
Yeah, didn't anybody see The Exorcist? Come on, that was like pretty much the whole...
There was only one.
That was pretty much the whole fucking premise of that shit. Was that it was like impersonating a bunch of different ones. But apparently her and her angel homies drove all the demons out. So however many there were. And so, yeah, she says now, I still sleep with my crucifix and my holy water, and she has angels with her all the time now, so, okay, you hear that, demons, like, you better not mess with Kathy, because she's got all the angels on her side, and they're gonna whip your ass, I guess. So, yeah, that was about the end of that. Angels helped her kick the demons out. The end. But they did have, like, a super high, like I said, that was the thing that they did the flash forward, like, the super... over the top exorcism, you know.
Yeah, it's a good episode actually. Yeah. And this season has a kind of a new intro theme. They ramped up the special effects. They're trying to look like something out of a damn movie, you know, like out of the Conjuring universe or something. Even though this predates the Conjuring universe, I believe.
Well, when did the first Conjuring movie come out? 2014.
I don't know. They just got them
kind of edited. Maybe it was earlier.
They kind of edited them a little bit more like a movie. So they've kind of gone away from the documentary type format of the first seasons. But it's still good. Still good. I liked it.
That's the thing. I kind of feel like, I mean, there'd been paranormal shows before, obviously. But I think A Haunting was sort of, it wasn't like the OG one or anything like that. But it was kind of one of the first big, like, real popular ones. Yeah. And... I feel like the success of that led to the 50 million other paranormal shows that they have on now that's still. And so I guess like the competition, they felt like the competition, you know? Yeah. So like all these other shows, it's like, well, we have to ramp up, we have to amp up the game because we have all these other shows to like compete with it. But honestly, I think the original Haunting shows that were just like a documentary format were a lot
spookier in a way.
Spookier. Like, I thought they were crazy. Like, and I really don't like the Ghost Hunter type shows.
No.
Like, where it's just like a bunch of douches like sitting around in a dark room. Like,
did you hear that?
With night vision.
Yeah, I heard it.
Something breathed on me. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That's like, I can't watch
Started
that.
with Taps.
Yeah.
Taps, I think, was the best of them out of that bunch, and that was the first one. And but the thing is, I could only take so much of that. You were always kind of like thinking that maybe they'll catch something. Maybe they'll actually catch something one of these days. No,
they never do.
No, the only thing that kind of was close to something, there was a couple of them that they did were the one they went to a lighthouse. I think it was out on an island where they had a camera looking up the spiral staircase going up to the top of the lighthouse, and it looked like something moved from one stair to the other, something small, but it might have been a bird.
Yeah, it could have been a million other things.
It could have been anything. Might have been a damn seagull up there and sleeping in the lighthouse. There's no way of knowing what it was, but that looked like something. And then they were in an old prison at night, and it looks like something moved or went into one of the cells as they were walking with night vision. But that could have been something too. It might have been an animal. It might have been a rat or something ran in there. I don't know. But they kept playing that over and over again. Something did look like it moved. Weird.
Those shows drive me nuts, though, because that they sat in this abandoned mall or whatever the fuck for, 8 hours or however long they stayed in there. And, fuck all happened, right? Yeah. So it's like they have to cobble together
something.
A half an hour or hour-long show. So they're going to replay a bunch of shit. They're going to make up a bunch of shit. Yeah. They're going to, like, sit around the door. Ooh, it got cold in here. It's like, ooh, I think something touched me. Ooh, did you hear that? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, I can only watch so much of that. I don't have the patience.
As far as the Ghost Hunter ones, the best ones of the bad ones was Ghost Brothers. Because Ghost Brothers was just fucking funny. Black dudes are looking for ghosts. And playing pranks on each other while they're looking for ghosts. And they just got them sitting in dark rooms by themselves. They got a camera on them, and you're going, I can't take this shit. Nope, I'm getting out of here. Nope, just the shit like that.
Well, like I said, the reason that show...
Man, it's scary, dude. It's scary in there.
The reason that show was good was because the dudes themselves were entertaining.
They were good, yeah. They were
like,
good.
even if they weren't looking for ghosts, they would still be funny to watch
funny,
because they the interaction between them was funny.
Yeah.
They
were just regular guys, too. They weren't parapsychologists.
And they weren't taking it super seriously, which I was on board with.
They were like, you gonna make me sit in there all night in that dark? Okay, man. You can do it. This just shit. Funny.
Yeah, they were just like fucking with each other the whole time.
Yeah, there ain't no ghosts in here. Ain't no ghosts in here. Fucking creepy though. It's just funny.
That's what I mean.
I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
Just,
they were just like really funny dudes just on their own.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like the reason that a lot of Ghost Hunter shows I don't like them is because they take themselves like way too seriously. Yeah. And I guess they're really trying to like prove paranormal shit, or they're trying to make a good show or whatever, but I don't know. It's just they take it too seriously. They're not having fun with it. They're not, and they're just they're just like every time somebody, farts sideways, they're just like, oh my god, shit's haunted. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just I can't.
And
watch
the Bigfoot shows are even worse, like killing Bigfoot and shit. That was, oh man.
That has got to be. I mean, somebody should sue.
Rednecks jumping up out of the ground with shotguns in the middle of the night.
Did you hear that?
We're gonna kill Bigfoot this time. It's just fucking stupid shit. Come on.
Well, and that's even dumber.
They're not even out in the middle of nowhere.
That's even dumber because it's like you're out in the middle of the woods. It's like that could literally be a million different things. It's like the woods are full of animals. Yeah. Duh.
That's not how you find Bigfoot if there is a Bigfoot. You find Bigfoot with a fucking thermal imaging satellite. That's how you do it. It's the same way you find them deer and shit.
You don't
go
like
just going out there.
Put on your ghillie suit and lay down in the ditch.
Yeah. And just look and wait
and drink beer.
The only thing that's gonna go by are animals that are normally out there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like so every time like a raccoon strolls by, they're just like, oh my god, was that Bigfoot?
Yeah, you'll be lucky if you see a panther. You'll see a mountain lion. Shit like that, bear. We see bear all the time, though. No, and I don't think anywhere in the continental United States is there going to be a Bigfoot. If something like that exists, to be in Canada by now. I don't even think that, there's a couple places in Washington State where man's probably never tread. I'd start looking there, but the best way to do that, there's no roads or anything. You need a satellite. You're going to need a satellite.
Yeah,
something that can see thermal images.
A bunch of dumpy hicks sitting out in the middle of the woods, like, you're not gonna find a Bigfoot.
No, it's not gonna be fast.
What are the chances that that if there was a Bigfoot, that he's gonna walk in front of you?
Yeah, your chances are gonna be zero. You're gonna want a fucking overhead look, and you're gonna be able to scroll through and looking at thermal images and go, yeah, okay, that's fucking elk. Okay, yeah, that's fucking bear. What the fuck is that? Oh, that's a dude. Okay, that's a dude walking around. Looks, is he fucking that goat? Is he fucking a goat? You're gonna see shit like that.
Well, see, now that's the kind of show I would watch. When you can find that kind of stuff.
You know where I got that idea, right?
That's more interesting to me.
Those choppers, I think it was in Afghanistan. Those choppers in Afghanistan were watching some guys. They were getting ready to blow them up, and one of the dudes was out in the field, walked out in the field and started screwing the sheep. And they got him on thermal, looking at him. They're laughing. The chopper pilots and the gunners are fucking, look at him go. Yeah, I see him. You ever saw that gun camera footage? Used to be up on YouTube.
Oh yeah, you showed it to me.
Used to be up on YouTube.
You showed it to me, I think.
Yeah, and they're laughing at him. I think they blow him up eventually, but
well, at least he died happy.
Yeah,
I guess.
I think they blew him up later once the attack started.
They let him finish at least. That was nice.
Well, they had to attack the compound. They were just
that poor sheep is like,
that
I
was
don't
just
even want to
something
be
they saw.
involved. I was just standing there chewing grass and look at what happened. That's not cool. Don't go raping animals, people.
Well, according to the camera footage, they picked through and killed every guy that was out there. Eventually, so I don't think he could have got away. You can't run from a helicopter. That's why I was fucking saying. Remember we were watching Red Dawn? And,
a long time.
And the good guys, the Wolverines, they ran from that fucking Soviet chopper on horseback. You cannot run from a helicopter on horseback.
But they put that in movies all the time where people run away from cars.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how fast can a person run?
Yeah.
Like even the Olympic dudes can only run what? Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the fastest dude alive is. But it's like a car. Yeah, that car's going to run you down in about 2 seconds.
Take it from me, ex-infantrymen. We fucking used to fight them shit. Fight fucking Apaches and Cobras fucking with Miles gear, just during training simulations. If an attack helicopter sees you, you're dead. It's basically the Terminator, and it flies, and you can't hide from it. There's nowhere you can run. There's nothing that you could hide in. You could go if you went into a building, they'd blow that building up. You can't get away from it. If you ran down into a fucking tunnel, they'd fucking blow the mouth of the tunnel up and collapse it in on you and kill you. You can't run from a helicopter. It sees you and then it kills you. The same way you walking around and you're seeing ants and you just step on them, that's what they do to you. It's a killing machine.
Zach says, one of my favorite paranormal YouTubers is the Foreman Brothers, a.k.a. Paranormal Nightmares. Mm-hmm. They're really earthy and real and genuine good guys. I think you'd like them. I should look that up. I don't watch a lot of paranormals. I like the scary stories, which aren't always paranormal. A lot of them are like true crime stories, like, oh, I escaped a serial killer and shit like that, which, or some weirdo was like living in my attic or something. But I like a lot of those, but I don't usually watch a lot of paranormal ones. I watch a lot of true crime though. That's for sure, because to me that's kind of scarier. I think that was the last. October 8th said, once when I was homeless, I was camping at one of the pools, old house that we skated at, and a ball was rolling around by itself. I would have run, but I was too high and tired. It was scary but cool. Yes, I wasn't that high. Like, not so high that they were seeing, like, fucking shit like that. Well, yeah, I mean, the shit that happened at our house, we weren't high either. We were just, like, sitting there waiting for a movie to come on, and it was just sudden.
Yeah.
I had never seen anything like that before. But like I said, after it had happened, I was just kind of like, huh. It was just kind of neat. Mm-hmm. But, All right, so are we done?
Yep.
Oh, Ken Knox said I had my septum pierced in 8th grade. It burned for a sec, but it happened so fast there wasn't any pain. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I thought they had like a... Because when they pierce your ears, they have that gun that just goes ka-chonk. So you don't even like feel anything. So I assume they have that for your nose too.
Not for me. I ain't doing it.
Well, no. Well, I don't. Yeah. like I said, if I did my nose, I'd probably do it up here. I don't think I'd want to do the middle. But yeah, after that, you were traumatized by having to do the piercing too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't even look because he even said like before he was like, "Don't look," and I was like, "Well, I wasn't gonna," but you know what I mean.
No, later on that night, I started thinking about it, and I'm going, ooh. But I had kind of clarity of purpose when I was doing it. You know what I mean? You can't get squeamish. You know, once you start, you just got to do it.
You gotta you can't half-ass it.
You can't, and once you got one of them done, you have to do the other one.
Even though I really didn't want to, I
didn't really want to do it either.
I was thinking about just leaving it, just having one.
I didn't really want to do it either, but now let's get it done.
Because I kept like putting it off. We sat and watched a movie, and I was like, oh, I really don't want to do that.
I'm just glad that Quinn was like, no, man, their placement's right, they're straight, they're deep in there, so fucking they're up against the areola, so no, that's it, that's a good job. He says, that's your first one? And I
they look good, yeah.
I said, yeah, that's my first job. He goes, yeah, you did good.
Yeah. Even though it was a harrowing experience.
The worst thing to do is that they're away from the areola and dangling. You don't want that. And then you don't want them crooked either. Some people have done it.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. You can't just have them like kind of hanging out. Because I was kind of worried. It's like, well, what happens?
And dangling. They can't.
Well, I was like, well, what happens like if I have to wear a sports bra or something like that? Like it's gonna chafe and.
No, they're uptight against the.
Yeah, so it's like you can't even really.
It doesn't look like a bars. It looks like two little studs on either side of the areola.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, because we started out with like the smallest.
Yeah, you don't see the bar. You just see the studs, the little balls. Mm-hmm. They're pretty, and you can change out the colors and everything.
Yeah, we'll get some more jewelry.
Get different. Yeah,
once it heals up.
Yeah, there's different versions. You can get things with dangling stuff and whatever. So you can change up. Some of them are little bats.
Yeah, you can get all kind of fun stuff. Zach says, my sister has one of those little studs on the side of her nostril. I always thought those looked really cute. Yeah, me too. Like, actually, there's a girl at work has a little... Is it a little stud or like a little ring? I can't remember. And it's kind of cute, yeah. But I think that's all. Yeah, so we got to the end of the episode, and it's only 8:37, which is good.
Okay.
Because...
We can get back to watching your series.
Yeah.
If you want.
And I'm super tired. I can probably watch a couple, but I don't know why. I guess I was still thinking about the fucking the fucking piercing thing, but I didn't sleep very good last night. I just kept waking up. Right. And I think another thing too was that for some reason, like Pookie usually hangs out in the room with us because she'll run in the bedroom and it's like, ooh, she wants a meat stick or something like that, and she'll lay on the bed and watch movies and stuff. But I went to the dollar store yesterday and got her some new little toys. Like I got her a little bunny and a little chick or whatever. And I was looking for her and I couldn't find her. And then I was like, when the evening came, I was like, I have not seen her like all day. And I was like looking around the house and I couldn't find her. And I was like, I didn't know where she was. And I was like, did she get locked in a closet? Did she get, run outside somehow? You know what I mean? And we didn't see her. And so, like, all night I kept waking up going, where the fuck is Pookie? And, like, I kept waking up and, like, I'd go to the bathroom and it's like I couldn't see her and I was freaking out. So then, like, this morning when I got up to go to work, finally, she was, like, just sitting by the water fountain, like, like nothing happened. And I was like, where the fuck have you been?
She hides.
And she must have some hiding places I don't know about. Yeah. Because, I mean, I've found most of her hiding places. Yeah. But she's pretty smart and she gets it. But I'm always worried that she's, like I said, that she's gonna... slip out the door while we're not looking, or she's gonna get locked in a closet because she likes to run in the closet for some reason.
She wants to get clothes in the closet. Yeah, I think
she does.
She wants to get clothes in there.
Yeah, she thinks it. I don't know why, but she thinks it's funny. She'll try to sneak around. Yeah. If you open the bedroom closet, she tries to like very casually. Yeah. Like walk behind you like that, like la la la, not even looking at the closet, and then she'll go, and then she goes and hides in there, and she'll curl up like way in the far corner, like you can't see me, you can't see me.
She wants you to lock her in the closet.
Yeah, she wants to get trapped in there. Yeah. I'm not really sure why. She's super weird, but I don't want her to get trapped in there because then in the middle of the night she'll want out and she'll start yelling and like.
And she got to go use the litter box. She'll just take a.
That's what I mean. Or she'll just like poop in your shoes or something like that, and nobody wants that. Right. So you can't let her stay in there, but she for some reason she really wants to. But I think that's why I kept waking up, because I didn't know where she was. But I found her. All right, so that'll do it for today's...
Super thanks should be activated, so you guys can go ahead and...
Today's haunting and nipple piercing show. Yeah. That's what we're going to call it. So, yeah, taking the day off tomorrow, but... well, at least from the show. But then Wednesday, we're going to do our main show, which is going to be about the Boca town center murders, which is something I didn't
know
really
that
know anything about. Yeah, it happened in 2007.
Okay.
And it happened down in South Florida.
Okay.
And there was a lot of and it was kind of like a high-end mall, and there was like all these murders like in the parking lot.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's what we're going to do the show about on Wednesday, because that's what won the polls. So, if you want to get in on the polls, you can either go over and join Patreon, or you can become a YouTube member, because I also post the polls over for YouTube members as well. So you can vote over here. But yeah, that's what won, so that's what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday night. So hopefully you guys can drop by for that. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with us this evening, and we will see you again on Wednesday night.